Netanyahu vows that the response to Hezbollah will be tough, and Iran warns of serious consequences to Israel over Lebanon. All that and more is going on while Turkey threatens to invade Israel. Got us thinking, is Turkey mentioned in Bible prophecy? We'll discuss it today on the Endtime Show. Welcome to the Endtime Show. Vince Stegall here with Doug Norvell. We're taking your calls. The number to join us is 877-ENDTIME, 877-363-8463. Give us a call. We would love to hear from you. Of course, there's a lot of news happening around Israel, so your perspective is going to be very important for today's discussion. You know, in these crazy times, there is peace of mind in security. Security for our country in the United States, security for our leaders, security for our families. But think about this, you're not financially secure if all your eggs are in one basket. Gold and silver is a way to diversify your savings. There's a hedge against inflation. They're a physical asset that's in high demand globally, from the wealthy to central banks. And through my friends at Birch Gold Group, you can own physical gold and silver in a tax-sheltered retirement account. That's right. One thing you can do to secure your family's savings is diversify an old IRA or 401k for no money out of pocket into an IRA in gold and silver. Visit birchgold.com/endtime and receive a free, no obligation info kit and learn the role precious metals play in your overall savings strategy. Again, visit birchgold.com/endtime. They've got an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and thousands of happy customers. You can trust Birch Gold like I do. Visit birchgold.com/endtime. All right, Doug, the response to Hezbollah will be tough. We've been hearing a lot of this chatter since November. I don't know why I've been saying chatter a lot lately on the show. I don't normally say chatter. Nonetheless, we've been hearing a lot of this talk about from Netanyahu about Hezbollah, Israel, of course Hamas, Iran's in there, Jordan's gotten involved. I mean, the Middle East seems to be in shambles right now, Doug, and I know that some people think it always has been, and there has been ups and downs, a lot of downs over the years, but it seems heightened more so, especially since October, than really ever in my life, Doug.
Well, you know, one of the things about it, Vince, everybody's been wanting to try to control this war and keep it from going to a larger scale war. But it seems like every indication right now, like you're talking about, is showing us that that's what everybody's talking about. This is about to go to a larger scale. It's about to get worse before it gets better. And when you think about what happened in Gaza, so in retaliation to what Hamas did on October 7th, we had Israel go into Gaza and they tore the place apart. And, you know, they were saying we've got to take the head of the snake off, because if we don't, we're never going to be rid of this terrorist group that wants to destroy Israel. Well, what a lot of people don't understand, Vince, is that Hezbollah has been launching rockets since October 8th. So they've had this up to the north. Remember, we've talked about it several times, because one of the things we like to do is try to help people understand that this is a much broader thing than what we're hearing here in our media, and you don't hear about it so much. And so finally something happened to the point to where maybe more of the media will talk about it, and maybe people will see that Israel is just trying to exist. I mean, that's simply what Israel's trying to do, is exist in the middle of all her enemies. It's been that way since they took the promised land, since the Hebrew children took the promised land way back in the Old Testament. They've had to fight for their existence. And part of the reason for that, Vince, is because they didn't do what God told them to do. I mean, they did not utterly drive out the enemy, and even, you know, their livestock and everything to get it out of there, their worship centers, all those things. They didn't do that back in the Old Testament. So they're dealing with it now. They're dealing with it in a major way right now.
Well, Doug, I would argue, too, that they've chosen not to do that every day since then. And so this is a buildup of thousands of years now. And like you said, it's brewing, and that's not a First Cup reference, but it's brewing,
Yes,
and it's about to go to new levels that not only new levels that we've never seen before in the Middle East,
Right.
but it's going to boil over to new levels than we've ever seen in the entire history of the world, Doug.
Well, absolutely.
We know a war is coming that will kill a third of mankind, and it's going to emanate out of the Middle East region.
Right there in that spot.
And that's, I mean, we're not ready to proclaim this is what's happening yet.
Right.
But there is war brewing out of the Middle East, out of the Euphrates River region.
Yes.
And so we're not proclaiming that the Sixth Trumpet War is happening right this second. But if things keep developing the way they are, Doug, there is coming a day very soon where we're going to have to come on this show. We're going to have to look all of you in the eye and say that war that the Bible said is coming is here, and we are living through it, which will only be just one more major event happening in our world, Doug, that's pointing to the beginning of the final 7 years. The Antichrist is going to take center stage.
Yeah.
World government's going to be established even more so than what we see right now.
Yeah.
And when I start thinking about all that, I feel the viewers. I feel people going, you guys are supposed to be Christians. You're talking about doom and gloom. This is not exciting. This isn't prosperity. All the stuff that it feels like y'all are saying out there. I know, I can feel it. But at the same time, Doug, what all that means is that there is a revival coming that's also going to be like something the world has never seen.
Yeah.
And it's going to be so vast that no man will be able to number just the impact that this has.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that revival is going to come through people like you and me, people like the folks that are watching the show right now.
Yeah.
God is going to use people all around the world to facilitate this revival. His Spirit is going to move on people. We even see when it's talking about that world religious system, the Spirit is going to start speaking to people. They've been doing Mass faithfully for 15 years, Doug.
Right.
They've been attending the Baptist Convention for 15 years or however long. They've been doing some of them worship Allah. Some of them, some of them worship all sorts of religions, Doug.
Right.
And the Word of God says that the Spirit is going to speak to those people and say, come out of her. Come out of that harlot church and all of her daughters. Come out of her, my people.
Yeah.
And we are going to see a revival, Doug, like we've never seen in the history of the world. So I get excited when I know there's bad times coming. But then after that, Doug,
No bet.
you know better than I do. You're the guru. Put guru in the comments. You know better than I do. Jesus is going to come back. And he's going to establish his kingdom here on this earth. He's going to defeat this world government system.
That's right.
He's going to defeat this system that Klaus Schwab talks about today, Doug.
Yes,
that Joe Biden talks about, that all these globalists talk about.
Yeah.
Jesus is going to return and defeat that system and establish his kingdom. And little did Prophet Klaus Schwab know there is a great reset coming.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the one he has in mind. But Jesus is going to say, all your systems, all the things you've been trying for these thousands of years, it's over.
Right.
And now the King is here.
Amen.
And I can't wait for that day, Doug.
I'm looking for the choir.
Looking for the choir?
We need to have altar call.
Is that what all those robes were about? I thought it was a baptism service we were going to have. Well, I just can't wait for that day. Right. And unfortunately, there's going to be some lows, at least from our fleshly perspective, Doug. Sure. And when I hear about Netanyahu vowing that the response to Hezbollah will be tough, and Iran jumping in and saying that these consequences for Israel, there's going to be tough consequences over Lebanon, and what Turkey's talking about doing, that doesn't sound very fun, Doug. That doesn't sound very joyful, and it's not. And I'm not happy about those bad times. But there are good times coming, and through the bad times, we are going to have incredible experiences in the Lord that we've never been able to experience. So, I mean, there is an excitement that boils up in me, Doug.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're living in exciting times, Vince. I mean, all this is very exciting because we can see where we're going. We can see where we're heading. And we know that there are, like you said, bad times that are coming, but there's just as many good times that are going to come as well. And when we get to welcome Jesus Christ back to the earth and our feet leave the ground, it's going to be the most exciting time in history. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, Doug, it's only going to be exciting for those that look to Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith.
Oh, yeah.
If you're looking to somebody else, it's not going to be that exciting.
Right.
And so I'm just reminded, as we're sitting here talking about that, Doug, that there's only one source in all of this.
Yes.
The source isn't in the money that I can make. The source isn't in the job that I have. The source is not into whatever I can acquire, which is what our culture pushes, that we get this acquirement mentality that whatever you can build up here on this earth, that you'll have a happy, comfortable life. No, if I'm looking to Jesus as my one source, I don't have to worry about any of this stuff going on. I'm aware it's happening. I pray for the people involved, but I don't have to worry. God hasn't given me the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. So if you're with me on that, why don't you put it in the comments? It's a great time. Jesus is my one source. Put that in the comments if you agree with me. Let's blow up. No, I shouldn't say that. Let's fill the comments section of this video with Jesus is my one source. If there's anything that anyone needed to read on YouTube or Rumble or Facebook or anywhere else that we're streaming, they need to be reminded or maybe hear for the very first time that Jesus is my one source. Some of those people are going to read that and go, what in the world does that mean? And it might open the door for you to have a witnessing session through Messenger or something like that. Mm-hmm. God, Doug, we don't limit what God can do.
No.
He can reach people through social media in ways that we never even imagined. So put Jesus is my one source in the comments, and who knows what could be.
I mean, social media is a great tool. It's why the devil tries to shut it down all the time. He knows how good of a tool it is. So don't ever say that somebody can't be saved through a Facebook conversation, because I know for sure they can. I watched my niece come through on Facebook post. I've seen other people that I know that saw something that was in there and said, wait a second, I want to talk to you about that. I've never heard that before. And next thing you know, they're being baptized. So yeah, that's a great place.
There's plenty of people out there that it's tough to talk to on Facebook, Doug, or wherever else.
Absolutely.
But don't discount what the Lord can do, even in a
God
comment.
can do anything.
Doug,
if he can use a donkey, right, Vince?
And people like me and you.
That's right.
He can
That's where I was going with that.
He can sure use Instagram or any of that
That's
stuff.
Right.
They think they've got this algorithm the way they want it.
Mm-hmm.
But man, he can go in there and mess things up for them.
Yes, he can.
And make something go viral. I saw the clip. Of course, we've talked about. Dave talked about it yesterday. The Olympic ceremony. Mm-hmm. But there was another Olympian who was told that she was not allowed to say anything about Jesus, or I can't remember the exact phrase that she was told she could not do, something about not sharing her faith in Jesus. Mm-hmm. She can't say it, and she gets on there and she tells it in sign language. So now everybody's Googling, what does that mean? Or and so they thought they could contain the message, but she did it in that way, and boy, it's going viral. And so a lot of people are trying to figure out what all that means. And I just celebrate when things like that happen, because Jesus uses ways that I never would have thought of. And and I'm glad about that, because I'm not smart enough to think about all the things, Doug. Doug, back to what's happening in the Middle East. I see what's going on. I don't know what we need to talk about specifically with the Hezbollah situation, but when I look at this, the question we're posing is Turkey in Bible prophecy. Mm-hmm. I know there's a lot there, but another question we get connected to that is Islam in Bible prophecy. Islam is such a force, and people want to know, will Islam rule the world? That's what they certainly want to do. Yeah. Some people have suggested, which is a question that you think I would come up with, Doug, but will the Antichrist be a Muslim?
Right.
What's our take on that, real quick, before we go next?
Yeah, we don't believe that he'll come from a Muslim nation. We believe that he'll come up out of a European nation. Now, could he be of Muslim descent? Since there's so many different people in Europe now that are Muslim, I mean, quite possibly, maybe, but it's hard to imagine that because we don't see that being the main source. The beast is going to be red. It is going to be a communist beast. The dragon that we see in Revelation 13, that's a red dragon, and that's communism. And we're not really going to see the green dragon raise up, even though right now is the time for the green horse. I mean, it is that time for the green horseman to ride. We are seeing a lot of things happening with Islam and with these Islamic nations, and a lot of this that's happening right now is, it makes you wonder. But we're going to talk about a little bit of Gog and Magog later, and of course we know from that Russia is the main leading force that will bring the Islamic countries into it. So we really don't see it being an Islamic leader as being
the Antichrist.
Yeah. We believe it'll be more of a European leader. He'll be communistic, socialistic person. That'll be his beliefs.
So the Antichrist won't be Muslim, but in spite of that, Islam does appear to be in the Bible.
Yeah, absolutely. Islam's in the Bible, and it has been.
You say that with such confidence, Doug.
Well, yeah, I mean,
so much confidence, like there's a clip we're about to play.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave showed this yesterday, but it's worth showing 100 more times. We've got a brand new Endtime original coming out that Dave Robbins put together, The Green Horseman and World War III. If you haven't seen this trailer yet, first take the time right now to share the video that you're watching. Hit share, hit the heart, comment, whatever you're thinking. Help us get the word out. Everyone in your feed, everyone on your timeline, all your friends, they need to see this trailer and what's coming out of it. They really need to see the whole thing, but it's not out yet. But you've got to check out this trailer. If we're ready for it, let's go to it now.
A reminder of the breaking news this hour. At least 22 people are reported to have died in a strike in Gaza.
The rise of Islam.
I'm trying to bring answers for so many families desperately.
Is the Israel-Hamas-Iran conflict World War III? So let's talk about the four horsemen. What do these horses symbolize? These are the four spirits of the heavens which go forth from standing before the Lord of all the earth. In the end time, the true people of God will not be weak, anemic, and defeated. These prophesied events are revealing we are quickly approaching the time of the Great Tribulation right now.
Now available for pre-order at endtime.com/green. Go to endtime.com/green or call 800-ENDTIME.
Wow. So, Doug, first of all, incredible footage, incredible lesson by Dave, great supporting assets throughout the lesson that's going to help you see things a little bit more clearly when it comes to the four horsemen of the apocalypse and specifically that green horse. And, of course, a lot of our followers, a lot of the audience knows, Doug, that we certainly feel like Islam is in Bible prophecy. If you agree with us on that, put Islam in the comments right now. Show us who all out there is there. And special thing about the pre-order, it's available right now at endtime.com/green. And you can pre-order that lesson. You'll be one of the first ones to receive it. But also, right now, for a limited time, it's available for only, actually, for a donation of any amount. So endtime.com/green. If the Lord tells you to give $4, you're going to get the DVD. But if He tells you to give $4,000, you're going to get the DVD either way. So whatever the Spirit tells you to give, that's what we're trusting in Him above everything else to be able to pay for duplication and all the things that come with creating physical products. I know some of you out there are going to say you're selling the gospel. Well, you're watching the show for free. We do the show for free every single day. It's on radio, television, all the things for free. We do everything we possibly can for free. free. But the people that work here, they want to be paid for some reason. It's like, Doug, they want to keep their lights on at home. So there's a lot that goes into making these lessons available, and so we offer that lesson for a donation of any amount right now in pre-order. You can get it at endtime.com/green. So do that today. You can also call 800-END-TIME and pre-order it. All right, Doug, we've got a lot to discuss, and I don't know where to go from here to cover everything.
Well, for one thing, let's just kind of let everybody know why this is such a big deal right now, because, you know, there were 12 kids killed on a soccer field the other day. Hezbollah actually has, Vince, the ability with some of their technology and some of their rockets they have that can fly under the Iron Dome. And that's why they're getting through. So in the northern part of Israel, that's where these rockets are coming across from Lebanon, just to kind of give everybody an idea where this is coming from. And they've got rockets, they've got drones that have technology that can evade that radar and evade the Iron Dome to a point to where they can get things through there. And these are very powerful. As you can see in that story, you know, that Dave covered a little bit of this the other day. 12 children were killed, 40 other people were wounded. And this is in a Druze town, which a lot of people may not know who the Druze are, but they are part of Israel, but they come from different communities. The Druze community, they are a distinctive religious and ethnic group originating from the 11th century. And the Druze faith, it combines elements of Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, and classical Greek how do you even say it? Thank you, Lena. Philosophy. I get stuck on those words sometimes. I can't get them off my tongue. But anyway, these particular philosophies that they have, they may be different than what the Jewish people believe, but the Jewish people have lived side by side with these people that live in Israel with them. They're not only in Israel. The Druze people are in Syria. They're in Lebanon, in Jordan, and places. But anyway, they're very sweet people. And in Israel, they have about 150,000 of these folks, and you'll go in, when we're on tour, we'll go into some of these places where there are Druze communities. And this one particular area that we go into, it's got great restaurants, and so we go in there and we get to fellowship with these people. I was sitting out on the street last time we were there, Vince, and some of these kids were playing on their bicycles and riding around, and they would come up and talk to us. Just sweet people. And so it's a terrible thing that's happened there. But what we need to understand is this doesn't get covered in the media. You know, it only gets covered if the Jewish IDF accidentally kills some pedestrians or some people that are not part of Hamas get killed and children get killed. Then it's big news on the media. But when Hezbollah directly attacks a soccer field with children playing on it, they know what they're doing. And this is there's no outrage like there is for other things. And so that is just one of those things that I think people need to understand. But Hezbollah has already said that they're ready for a full-out war. They said they don't want this, but I've never seen anybody that doesn't want war launch, 300 missiles into a neighboring community. I haven't seen that before. That sounds like you want war. But they said they do not want all-out war, but if they have to defend themselves, they will. And notice they say they have to defend themselves. They've been launching rockets, folks, since October 8th into Israel. This is not a defense mechanism. This is a way to wage war, and they're trying to word it so that when the media post stories about it, they're saying, oh, we don't want all-out war with Israel. Well, why are you blasting rockets in there and killing children? Sounds to me like they do want a full-scale war. But anyway, just remember these things, because Netanyahu, he cut his visit here to the States short to go home to handle this situation, went before the cabinet. The cabinet gave them a full authority to launch whatever attack that they deemed necessary. And of course, Vince, with that, what do we get? Iran warns if this happens that the consequences are going to be very deadly. So that came out yesterday from Iran, saying that if Israel launches a war into Lebanon with Hamas because of this, that they will defend Lebanon. So you got that going on. And we've talked about how Israel is surrounded by this ring of fire. This is just more of that ring of fire. Hezbollah is funded by Iran. Iran is saying if Israel comes into Lebanon and does these things, then they're going to launch a full-scale attack, and it's going to be very bad. And then, of course, the United States has said that the area, the Golan Heights, belongs to Israel. I think the Biden administration finally came out the other day and declared that that is part of Israel. Of course, we've already known that for quite a while, and they are defending that area. That's what the Golan Heights are right there. And when you're setting up there at the Golan Heights, when you go on tour with us, you can look right in to Syria, to Lebanon, and see those areas from the Golan Heights, and you see all that. And so, anyway, all this stuff is really heating up, like you were talking about before. But the main thing is now we hear Turkey wants to get involved in it. Well, why is that important? Because now, once again, you've got one of the countries that border where? The Euphrates River. So now we're talking about we're engaged with Iran. We're engaged a little bit with Syria, with Iraq, because that's where some of these proxies are, these terrorist proxies. And now Turkey is saying, because of what Israel's done in Gaza, because of the fact that they may do this also with Hezbollah in Lebanon, now they're threatening Israel. And that becomes prophetic. So now we're talking about all those areas around the Euphrates River that's in that Revelation chapter 9 prophecy about the war that kills 1/3 of mankind. You've got those people associated in that. But Turkey is also mentioned in the Gog-Magog war, and in Revelation there is a key scripture there that we'll talk about later that'll help us understand how Turkey can be involved in this.
Doug, we are taking calls today. The number to join us is 877-ENDTIME, 877-363-8463. Give us a call. We would love to hear your perspective. I also want to take this time to remind you about First Cup Coffee. They're a Christian-owned Patriot Coffee company out of the great state of Texas. They have 11 different roasts, each one named after a specific piece of American history. You should definitely go order some today. But when you do, use code ENDTIME to get 10% off at firstcup.com. If you subscribe, they'll give you another 10% off. Go to firstcup.com, use code ENDTIME to get 10% off today. Doug, last week we ran out of it here in the office for one day, and then it was back. Mm-hmm. How do you feel this week now that First Cup is back in the rotation in the office coffee pot?
Well, let me just tell you, Thursday nights when I do my Bible study,
yes,
people have been drinking First Cup for several months now. The other night we had to give them another brand, and they noticed right away, wait a second, this isn't First Cup. And so I'm glad we got the First Cup back, and I am thrilled because this morning was one of the best cups of coffee I've had in a week or so.
There you have it, folks. Go get it. We'll be right back after this break with some breaking news. We just get out of Israel. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
A voice spoke to me and said, I've got something I want to show you. I was so sure God had talked to me. And I was stunned on what I saw.
A direct fulfillment of this over 2,500-year-old prophecy. The United States will stand with Israel.
Why haven't I ever seen this before?
1/3 of humanity will die. What do these beasts symbolize?
The lion, the bear, the leopard.
The combined beast from Revelation 13 represents the end-time government of the Antichrist. Understanding the end time.
Now streaming on Endtime Plus and available to order at endtime.com/UET. Go to endtime.com/UET or call 800-ENDTIME.
What if you could understand Bible prophecy? Dave Robbins, the host of the Endtime Show's TV and radio programs, is holding a free prophecy conference near you. Gain peace and understanding about what the Bible says concerning end-time prophecy. Call 1-800-ENDTIME or go to endtime.com/events to see when Dave will be in a location near you.
Welcome to the Endtime Show. Vince Stegall here with Doug Norvell. We have open lines at 877-ENDTIME, 877-363-8463. Give us a call. I do need to tell you that Dave and Jana are going to be in Sherman, Texas this weekend. I believe it's Saturday and Sunday. Doug, help me out here. Yes. Saturday and Sunday in Sherman, Texas. So everyone in the North Texas area, South Oklahoma, or anyone that wants to fly in, drive in, you are welcome at this conference. You don't have to pay. You don't have to register. It is first come, first serve. And Dave will actually be teaching that Green Horseman and World War III lesson at this conference. So yeah, it's available for pre-order at endtime.com/green, but you can go hear it in person with Dave live if you go to Sherman, Texas this weekend. So make plans, go to endtime.com/events, or give us a call at 800-ENDTIME.
I got friends in Van Alstyne and Howe. It's a perfect opportunity for you guys to go over there. Bonham also, you can go over to Sherman, real quick jump. Go check that out. It'll be a great conference.
Before that conference, though, Doug, we've got something happening.
Yes, we do.
Here on Thursday. Have you heard the big news yet? You haven't heard the big news yet because we haven't announced the big news.
Big news.
Huge. Donald Trump huge.
Huge news.
Doug, this Thursday.
Yeah.
August 1st, first day of the month. 11 a.m. If you're in, it's 11 a.m. Central Time. Okay. Only on Endtime Plus. If you go to Endtime Plus and you go to the browse section, the featured image at the top is of the daily live stream. But Wednesday after the show, that's going to switch to the big news live stream. And you can go see it right now. It's the second option right now. But nonetheless, if you go right there, of course, we're going to email all the Endtime Plus subscribers just a few minutes before we go live. And this Thursday, 11 a.m., we will be announcing that big news that we've been keeping from pretty much everybody. And I can't wait, Doug.
It's pretty
How excited are you?
I'm stoked on it because, I mean, we've been bottling this up. I've had so many people try to trick it out of me and coax it out of me and cook me food to tell them, I had somebody offer to make me a steak if I would tell them the big news. And so, I'm stoked about it. I'm ready to reveal it. And we're just bursting at the seams. But I've got a question.
Okay.
Does that mean you have to have Endtime Plus to see this? You have to be a subscriber to see the big announcement?
For that initial big announcement, yes.
Okay.
The 11 a.m. is for Endtime Plus subscribers only.
All right.
But here's the thing, Doug.
Okay.
Here's a little loophole that I'm probably not supposed to talk about.
Okay.
We offer a 14-day free trial.
Ah,
for
see,
Endtime
that's
Plus.
what I was thinking. That there's a way
You can go
around
there
it.
right now, and you can subscribe with the free trial. And right now, you can use code YouTube, which will expire just shortly after that announcement at 11 a.m. on Thursday. But use code YouTube. You'll get it for less than $6 a month. And that won't happen until 2 weeks after your free trial.
Nice.
So literally everyone watching or listening to this could go to watch.endtime.com, start the free trial today, hear the big announcement, and cancel their subscription, and they would not have to pay a dime.
There you go,
Now,
folks.
our prayer and hope is that you stick around and enjoy some of the content that's on there.
There's so much.
And all the content that will be coming, because obviously the Green Horseman will be there.
Yeah.
Messiah Revealed is coming that nobody knows about out there yet, but it's one you recorded.
Yes.
And there's no telling what else Dave's going to record between now and the end of the year.
Right.
So
we could have a Daniel series.
We're hoping, you never know. We're hoping that you'll stick around, but you could go use the free trial to hear the big announcement and then cancel right after. And I'm not going to be mad at you.
No.
Because I've done stuff like that before.
Sure.
And I love paying as little as I possibly can for everything that I can. I'm kind of known as a tightwad.
You are. I'm glad you said that. You are.
Well, I didn't say I was a tightwad. I said I'm kind of known as one. But nonetheless,
he squeaks sometimes, folks.
Nonetheless, we're making that big announcement this Thursday at 11 a.m. and it is going to be awesome, Doug.
Yeah,
you don't want to miss it. Go get that free trial just to be there for that.
Yeah. You won't want to cancel it right away either, because there's so much good stuff on there. That Revelation series that Brother Baxter did, oof, man, it's incredible. So,
yes, it is.
Just saying.
21 episodes. Mm-hmm. You could stream all that in your 2-week free trial.
I know,
as
that's
well.
what I'm saying. You could binge
still
watch
cancel
that
after you stream it.
Yeah, it'd be great.
There's been people that get on there and binge watch, Doug. Mm-hmm. You think I'm going to date myself because I don't even know what's popular right now, but Lost comes to mind, Friends, those type of TV shows that people would watch.
Wow.
And they would sit around for hours and watch the whole thing.
You outdated yourself.
I don't know what anything is anymore.
Yeah. People binge watch all the time. That's the point.
That's the point. And why not binge watch something that can dramatically change your life eternally?
Amen.
End time content. So, yes, watch.endtime.com.
Yeah.
And that big announcement is coming 11 a.m. this Thursday. And I can't wait for it.
Can't wait.
All right, so the big news, the breaking news. I forgot that I said that right before the break. We need to talk about this, Doug, because I got this. I'm being told that that's a 7-day free trial. I said 14-day free trial. It's actually 7 days.
Okay.
You can still get the big news with the 7-day free trial.
You can.
The news is coming out that the IDF has confirmed that it carried out a strike moments ago on the Lebanese capital of Beirut, which targeted the Hezbollah commander who was responsible for the rocket attack that you mentioned on the soccer field, Doug. So that has just come out as we've been on the show.
And that's big news, because I believe, if I'm not confused here, I believe that our government said specifically to Israel, do not attack Beirut. I think that was something that I saw in a headline yesterday that said, whatever you do, Israel, do not take it straight to Beirut. And that's what they've done. They did just the opposite of what they were told by the United States. So there you go.
So what does that mean, Doug?
I don't know yet. I guess we'll see in the next couple of days. Now, remember, already the Biden administration is limiting the weapons that they're supplying to Israel right now. Whenever Netanyahu was here addressing Congress the other day, he said, this war isn't just between Israel and Iran. We are fighting this for the United States of America, because Iran says that they're going to come after America as well. They call Israel the little Satan. They call America the big Satan. And they're saying, they'll destroy the little Satan, and then they'll destroy the big Satan. And so Netanyahu told them in Congress the other day, when we're in these battles, we're not just fighting a battle between Israel and Iran and their proxies. We're fighting this battle for the United States of America as well. And we need to understand that and help Israel as much as we can out in this situation. And people need to understand, like I was trying to say earlier, with these ring of fire, this situation with these proxies. This is a very important time, because we could see this escalate, and there's been so many different things that we've seen. We've seen our troop buildups over there. We've seen the troop buildups between Iran and some of these proxy terrorist groups. We've seen China in that area. We've seen Russian soldiers in that area. There's been things going on in this area for years, and now this is all kind of coming to a head. So it does make you think, okay, this is going to turn into a bigger war. It just feels like it is. To me, it feels like that we are headed down that path to that sixth trumpet war, but we'll just have to wait and see where all this leads. But, back to what we were talking about today, with this happening now, I could see Turkey even more, threatening with Israel. But that Turkey threat is a major threat, Vince, because with Erdogan saying that we can just enter into Israel and attack you, it's a big deal. And so we're watching these flare-ups happen between these proxies, and we're hearing these threats from Turkey, and Turkey's talking about intervening. They're talking about invading. And so that's an important thing that we're seeing the Turkish president say. And it's interesting because we know that in Ezekiel 38 and 39, it talks about the Battle of Armageddon. And so people get this confused, Vince, and they believe that what we're talking about with the Sixth Trumpet War, that this is the same thing as the Battle of Armageddon, or the Gog-Magog war. And so we've done programs on it in the past, Vince, where we've explained to everybody how Gog and Magog is actually the same thing as the Battle of Armageddon. We've taken the scriptures, we've cross-referenced it and showed you where they line up with what it says about the Battle of Armageddon in Revelation 19. And so these are two different things, but when Turkey starts getting involved, could Turkey be involved in the Sixth Trumpet War? Absolutely, they could, and it looks like they might be. Now, remember, too, Vince, an important thing to think about when we think about Turkey is a NATO member. They've been a NATO member since, I think back in the 50s at some point. I can't remember. Right here. It says right here in my notes, 1952, they've been a NATO member. So it's an important thing to understand that this is a different turn of events here. And even because of what Erdogan said, we had the Israeli defense minister reach out to NATO and say they should be canceled as members here. If he's threatening Israel with an invasion and he represents NATO, somebody should do something about this, basically, is what this defense minister in Israel has said. But anyway, with that said, do you want to move into what Ezekiel 38 says and how we can kind of break that down? You want to move there now? Or?
Absolutely.
Okay, I didn't know. I know you're kind of watching the news to see if you're seeing anything else.
I'm trying to keep up with everything going on, Doug. It's very hard to,
I can imagine. Yeah.
One thing that I do want to ask that someone asked in the chat a while ago, and it just came to my mind as we're talking about what's developing right now with Israel, is if this does go to the next level, we were talking earlier about a revival that's coming.
Right.
How in the world can we say revival is coming when we're also saying mass war is coming?
Right.
Are we going to see revival while that war is going? Do we think that war is going to happen? There'll be so much devastation that people then turn to God. What's our take on that? How do we help people understand how we can talk about such two dramatically different things developing at the same time?
Well, I mean, really, Vince, all people need to do is think back to 9/11. You think back to 9/11, you've seen what happened there. All those people were killed. How many was it? 3,000 and something people were killed in those attacks. And the buildings came down, and the churches were full on Sunday morning. People started asking questions. Is this the end? Is this going to take us to the final battle in the Bible? Are we in the end times? People were asking those kind of questions and seeking God. And so, when tragedies happen, especially a mass war like this that's going to kill that many people. I mean, we're talking about billions of people that are going to be killed. And so we're looking at this as the biggest war in history up to this point. So that's why we call it World War III and the Sixth Trumpet War, because of 1/3 of mankind being killed in this war. Well, we know that war is going to usher in the Antichrist and probably the peace agreement with Israel. We've always known that those two prophecies are running neck and neck. We didn't know for sure which one was going to happen first, but it appears like this war would happen. Then you would have the peace agreement. Then the Antichrist is going to be revealed somewhere within that final 7 years. Halfway is what the Bible says. And then when that happens, great tribulation's coming. Well, when the church was in tribulation before, what did it do? The word exploded. So I believe that's what's going to happen again.
So the rapture's not next?
The rapture is
we're coming up on a break, Doug. Oof. We'll be right back.
Saved by the break.
They that understand what is taking place will instruct many.
Except a man is born again, he can enter or see the kingdom of God.
I don't care what label you've been given or what label you've given yourself. You are essential. You still matter.
This is a journey, and when we get to the other side of that, that's where our prize is. That's where our reward is.
End time is not going anywhere.
Welcome back to the Endtime Show. Vince Stegall here with Doug Norvell. Open lines at 877-ENDTIME, 877-363-8463. I want to remind you that Dave and Jana Robbins will be in Sherman, Texas this weekend. All of you in the North Texas, South Oklahoma area, or anywhere in the United States or world, you are welcome to attend. Go to endtime.com/events. It's totally free for you to go to a conference, and you'll get to meet Dave and Jana Robbins there and spend a little bit of time with them live in person in Sherman, Texas. Endtime.com/events, or call us at 800-ENDTIME for help. Also, I want to remind you again, big news coming soon. This Thursday at 11 a.m., we will be announcing that big news that we've been keeping from you only on Endtime Plus. That will not stream on Facebook, YouTube, anywhere else at 11 a.m. So you will want to join Endtime Plus if you're not already on Endtime Plus. Like I said before, you can start a free trial. You don't have to pay a dime for that. Cancel that free trial after the announcement. If that's what you want to do, that is totally up to you. We hope you stick around for a little bit longer, but nonetheless, you can do that by going to watch.endtime.com, go to the browse section, and then there's a featured image at the top that's the live show every single day. But if you just wait on it to change or hit the little next arrow, you'll see big news. An image that says big news on it sitting there. You can click that. That is where we will go live. Of course, if you're a subscriber, you're going to get emailed when we do go live. So you want to make plans to join us Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Central Time on Endtime Plus. We can't wait to tell you what's been happening. Big things coming.
Right.
Anyway, Doug, what do we need to cover before we get to the phones?
Okay, yeah, just quickly, I wanted to talk about Ezekiel 38, where Ezekiel is describing a future attack on Israel by Gog and Magog. We know this to be Russia, and mainly Islamic countries are going to come down in this attack with them. Persia, which is modern-day Iran, and portions of northern Iraq and Afghanistan. Cush, which is Ethiopia. Put, which is Libya. And Gomer, which is Eastern Europe, and then the house of Togarmah, which is Turkey and Armenia. So Turkey has been, until recently, allies with Israel, but with the election of Erdogan coming in, the Islamic sanctions of it, or the Islamic people that are there have really risen back up again in the government, and so they've become more and more of an influence over their government. They've had a lot of tragedy too. You know, remember when they had the situation with the earthquakes that killed so many people not too long ago, but Turkey just remains a strong nation even after these things. Well, one of the things that's interesting about it, because like I said, we know Turkey will be involved in that. So if Turkey were to be part of the Sixth Trumpet War, we know they will survive, just like we know Iran will survive, because they're going to be in that Gog-Magog battle. But one of the things that's that Gog-Magog, like I said before, we can prove that is the Battle of Armageddon. And one of the interesting things about the timing of the Battle of Armageddon, the Bible specifically says that the Euphrates River will be dried up. It's in Revelation 16:12. It says the sixth angel poured out his vial, and upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, to make a way for the kings of the east might be prepared. Well, the interesting thing about Turkey is that Turkey controls what we know is the Ataturk Dam. This dam is on the Euphrates River. It's in southern Turkey, and this dam is capable. This is the largest dam in that area, and it has, I think, the hydraulic system, the hydroelectric systems, and everything that's involved in this. It feeds all these different irrigation ports for Turkey. And so they have the ability, when they set this dam up, they can actually cut off the flow of the Euphrates River. And they tried it when they first built the dam, just to experiment with it to see if it would work. So could this be part of that prophecy from Revelation 16? We think it could be. We think this is a way that they could shut that down and make a way for that. Now, I mean, if it's an act of God, it can also be done, because we've seen what God's done with the Red Sea and with the Jordan River in Bible prophecy. In Scripture from the Old Testament, and so we know that God can do that anyway. But this may be one of the ways that God uses to shut up that flow of the Euphrates River. And of course, the timing of this is going to be a different time. Everybody asks about that because there has been severe drought there, and the Euphrates has been drying up a little bit. And so people have asked, is that what it's talking about in Revelation 16? And no, that's not it, because we're not there yet. This is not going to happen yet. The final 7 years has not even started yet. So this drought that's happening right now has nothing to do with this prophecy in Revelation 16, but that prophecy has everything to do with the Battle of Armageddon. And so it says it's making ways for the king of the east to invade into Israel. We know that happens at the Battle of Armageddon, but then also in Revelation 16, Vince, it tells us this important information. This is 13 through 16. It says, "And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. And they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth into the kings of the earth and the whole world to gather them to the battle of the day, the great day of our God Almighty." That battle is the Battle of Armageddon. Look, it says next, it says, "Behold, I come as a thief." That's Jesus talking. If you've got a red letter Bible, Jesus says, "Behold, I come as a thief." We believe that is the last warning for the rapture getting ready to happen there. He says, "Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame." And then verse 16 says, "And he gathered them together into a place in Hebrew called Armageddon." So that is the Battle of Armageddon. That's when that Euphrates River will be dried up, and that is when all of these nations come down with Russia. Turkey will be included there. Iran will be included. So that's why it's important anytime Turkey starts this rhetoric about war as well.
Doug, Cecilia on Facebook wants to know if Turkey is where Satan resides.
Well, I know that is a lot of people believe that because of Revelation, where it talks about the seat of Satan, and that area would have been in Asia Minor, which was where the churches were. Does that mean that there is literally a seat of Satan there, or is this a symbolic?
Seems like that would have gone viral on social media. If that was there.
So we believe this is symbolic. Remember that the book of Revelation is written in a structure where it's write the things that thou hast seen, and the things which are, and the things that shall be hereafter. Well, the letters to those churches, chapter 2 and chapter 3, those are the things which are. Those existed during the time that John was penning that he was writing the book of Revelation. So those were things that he was communicating to the church at that time. We do not believe that there is a physical seat or throne of Satan. I mean, Satan is the master of this whole world right now. And so he's only got a short time. There's only a little bit of time left before Jesus comes back and establishes his kingdom here on earth. So really, I mean, Satan's whole throne is this earth right now. He's going in and out looking for people to devour, just like he says he is.
Doug, I'm also getting some notes that there's total GPS outages all across both Israel and Lebanon, and that a ballistic missile launched from Iraq was intercepted earlier, approaching Israeli airspace near the city of Eilat.
Well, that's very interesting, because the same thing happened when the 300 missiles and drones were launched. GPS went down everywhere to keep them from being able to home in on certain areas. So it's not unusual that that's happening right now. And remember, we had an article not too long ago, Vince, where the Hezbollah leaders were telling their leaders to shut down all cell communication, because that's how Israel was finding them and blowing them up. So that sounds like we are getting ready to engage in an all-out battle there between Hezbollah and Israel. We'll have to watch the news and keep an eye on that and see where it's going from here.
Doug, I have a friend. We all have a friend. The ministry has a friend named Ashley, and we get people sending us stuff every single day, all day long, and we see all the things, whether it be on our own research or someone sending it. And I can tell you what, if I've missed something, Ashley doesn't miss it.
Oh, I know.
She finds everything there is to know going on in the world. And
That's
so
good.
We appreciate it. Ashley out there, she knows exactly who she is. So
yes.
Shout out to Ashley out there. We ready to get to the phones, Doug?
Let's do it.
All right. Mark from Missouri's been waiting for a little while. Mark, sorry for the wait. We appreciate you calling in. Welcome to the Endtime Show.
Hey, brothers. Hey, I got a couple of things here. I know you were talking about the Antichrist and everything. He wasn't going to be a Muslim because he comes from the old Roman Empire, which we know. But the other point you were talking about how this big influx of Muslims from all over is into Europe. You know, they've taken over pretty much France and England or whatever. But I think that the Saudi prince, or not the Saudi prince, but the Shah of Iran's son, I've been watching him for a long time. He has a lot of good things. He's been over, making friends with Natanyahu and whatever. That maybe after the war, they might actually elect somebody like him, to take over Iran. Doesn't mean it's necessarily going to go in the right direction, even if he does, because then, like we know, at the end of this, they're going to want to make Israel take over Israel, and all of that. So I'm looking really hard at him.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things, Mark, that we know from just looking at Scripture and what Scripture's telling us is that it's going to be a rebirth of the Holy Roman Empire. And so that's the other thing, to where it could not be an Islamic person, I don't believe, because then you would have two different religions there with the Holy Roman Empire and a Islamic empire. It would they would be against each other and not really with each other. Now, we do know that the end time religion is going to be an all-inclusive religion where they're going to say that Muslims worship the same God. We've seen that already beginning to happen. But right. I just feel like because of the structure of history and what we've seen throughout history, that world leader will come from somewhere within that European, like we've said, that 10-nation union that is actually the European Union. And the Bible tells us that it's the Holy Roman Empire because of the 10 toes that are in the feet of iron mingled with clay. So it's hard to see from those scriptures where we would get a Islamic leader that would rise up and be the Antichrist.
Yeah, I get your point, and I kind of went with that for a while. But I mean, this guy is over there, rubbing elbows with Israel. Who would be better to unite than Muslims and the Jews and everybody involved? That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I don't know. I mean, it's just something that I've been really looking at.
One thing we know for sure, time will tell.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, my other deal is, one of these days I'm going to come down and give you the secret of time, and we can make a whole DVD about that and what religion has done with time and how they've distorted the word.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see you when that day comes. You know where we're at.
I love you. Bye.
Love you, Mark. Right, God bless you, Mark. Doug, we are right here at the end of the show. I want to take the time real quickly to say one more time. If you don't have plans Thursday morning at 11 a.m., you do now. Come to Endtime Plus. Join us for the announcement of the big news. If you do have plans, cancel them. Do whatever you got to do to be there. You aren't going to want to miss this announcement. We cannot wait to share with you what the Lord has been doing the last 10 months or so. Maybe a little bit longer than that, Doug.
Maybe.
Nonetheless, Endtime Plus subscribers will get notified. You can subscribe right now by going to watch.endtime.com. Use code YouTube to get it for less than $6 a month. You can start with a free trial. You do not have to pay to be part of the big news. You can use that free trial to subscribe. And we sure can't wait to share it with you. Dave will be back with you tomorrow here at 3 p.m. Central Time. So we'll see you then. God bless.